School Uniforms by Alyssa Brownlee. My PowerPoint focuses on school uniforms and how they are an important issue in education. When were school uniforms introduced to schools? Parochial and private schools have a long history of using school uniforms to project an atmosphere of uniformity, pride, loyalty, and equality among the student population. Public schools have been using uniforms for years, gaining momentum during the late 1980s and increasing steadily throughout the early 1990s. School uniforms were also introduced to school because people felt that having school uniforms would make the children feel important, like they were in some vital organization, and it would also bring some order and discipline to the school and help the school make some profit. The idea appealed to most parents who asked the boards of schools to get children to wear school uniforms, and school uniforms has spread from there. What is a school uniform? A school uniform is an outfit worn primarily for school settings. They are common in primary and secondary schools. Uniforms also form the basis of dress code in schools. From California to Boston, some of the nation's largest school districts now have uniform policies. In New York City alone, more than 500,000 elementary school students will be wearing them by next fall, says author Ann Svensson from www.familyeducation.com. Styles of school uniforms. School uniforms are both casual and professional. Private schools usually consist more of professional outfits, where public schools are using a more casual outlook. Private school uniforms usually consist of khakis or dress pants, sweaters, and polos. For girls, there also could be knee-length skirts, and for boys, ties might be part of the outfit. Public schools are also very new to uniforms in school, but still try to keep it casual. Jeans or khakis and solid-colored t-shirts and polos are what can be found in many public schools who use uniform dress codes. The controversy of uniforms in school and legislation. There has been a lot of commotion about dress codes in school uniforms in the United States. The controversy of having school uniform really comes down to the pros and cons of having school uniforms and what positive attributes will come from having them. In recent years, school districts have been permitted to institute dress codes. President Clinton, in his 1996 State of the Union address, endorsed school uniforms in public schools. The Pennsylvania School Code, Section 510, states that the Board of School Directors in any school district may adopt and enforce reasonable rules and regulations as it may seem necessary and proper regarding the management of school affairs. Legal trends suggest that the courts are willing to defer to school authorities regarding dress codes. The pros of having school uniforms. Here are some pros of having school uniforms. School uniforms would save parents money so that they don't have to buy the designer and more expensive clothing. Also, kids whose parents would not or could not buy them the newest fad would not be embarrassed or harassed because of their clothes. Many gangs use clothes to identify themselves in other gangs, and also students can wear baggy clothes to hide weapons and drugs. Another pro of school uniforms is children's social standing would be based more on individual character and less on economic status, and if they have the latest fashions. According to www.education.com, a fixed dress code helps the students perform academically better. Students concentrate more on their studies rather than on deciding their wardrobe. The cons of school uniforms. School uniforms inhibit students' individuality. Young people often express their feelings through the clothing they wear. Some people, including parents and teachers, feel that the uniforms will take away from their form of expression. In comparison to civil dress, school uniforms provide futile and wasteful once the child is out of school or graduated. Another con of school uniforms is that it deprives the child of comfort. This discomfort might reflect upon the academic performance of the child. Legal standards. There have been many court cases relating to school uniforms. Newsom versus Albemarle County School Board was a very interesting case relating to prohibiting school clothing depicting weapons. The controversy arose after school officials forced student Alan Newsom to stop wearing a National Rifle Association t-shirt, which had men holding guns and the message NRA Sports Shooting Camp. The school policy prohibited messages on clothing, jewelry, and personal belongings that related to weapons. In Bivens versus Albuquerque Public Schools, the judge questioned whether sagging pants conveyed any particular message. The message that people were getting from sagging pants were either gang-related signs or just a teen fashion statement. The impact of students K through 12. The most important reason schools do not have standardized dress codes or school uniform policy is the resistance schools would receive from parents and students. The resistance would cause many parents taking their children out of school, which would lower student quotas, and that means less money. There will be many parents and students who will state that their freedom of expression rights are being jeopardized. Free expression results in more knowledgeable and competent decisions being made that will make everyone better off. People would also argue that part of their freedom is being taken from them not being able to wear the clothing they wish to wear. Also, strict dress codes have already been enforced in school districts, which allows inappropriate clothing to be banned from school premises already. Every year, USA Weekend publishes a survey for students in grades 6 through 12 on a topic of importance. This year they chose the topic of teens and freedom. A total of 218,350 teens took the survey. The questions I chose to show related to school uniforms and what the teens thought. Future directions for school uniforms. The controversy of having school uniforms in school is still an educational issue. School districts are still allowed to decide what path they want to take when choosing a proper dress code for their students. School districts have much to keep in mind when deciding on school uniforms. From individuality and self-expression to less harassment and students academically succeeding, school districts need to keep in mind what pros and cons come with the controversy of choosing school uniforms for their district and what is best for their students.